Hi guys, and welcome to another video lesson. Today we're going to be looking at the odd time signature 5/4. So this week there's a couple of videos on odd time. So if you've already watched the 7/8 video, my apologies, because I'm going to repeat myself a little bit. If you haven't watched the 7/8 video yet, I'll apologise in advance for when you do, because then I'll be repeating myself about what I'm about to say now. Does that make sense? So rather arrogantly, here in the West, we refer to 4/4 as common time, and anything that's not in 4/4 as odd time. There are a few exceptions to that. The compound time signatures, such as 6/8, 9/8 and 12/8, they're not really seen as odd time, and 2/4 often isn't referred to as odd time because it's just half of 4/4. But with those aside, for the most part, anything else is deemed as odd time. Now, as I said, that's rather arrogant of us here in the West. If you went to India or South America or Africa and referred to common time and 4/4, they'd look at you probably with puzzled looks on their faces. It doesn't mean anything. They've got a different way of understanding time. But for us here in the West, 4/4 common time, pretty much anything else, odd time. So there's lots of different ways that you can count and deal with odd time. For me personally, I want to keep it as simple and as straightforward as possible. I know some musicians count odd time signatures in a different way to common time. So for example, 7, a lot of people count it 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 or 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Now there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I am not criticizing anybody for doing something different to the way I do it. It's absolutely fine, and you should experiment with different ways of counting until you find the one that fits best for you. That's absolutely fine. Definitely go and do that. For me, I'm not a big fan of that. I've spent a long time and invested a lot of energy in learning how to count 4 common time properly. So 1 2 3 4 if it's crotchets, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and. Learning how to count all the different 1-beat subdivisions and how they all fit together. So when I step out of 4/4, why would I want to change all of that? Let me give you an example. So we're looking at 5/4 today. Okay, well 5/4 is 4/4 plus 1. It's 4/4 plus 1/4 if you like. So there's no need to change how we count. All we need to do is add something to what we're counting. So if I'm counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, I ran out of fingers there. If I'm counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and for my 4/4 bar, to make it a 5/4 bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and. That way I can keep counting just as I always have done. I can throw in any improvisations and ad-libs that I always have done in 4/4. I can use any of the subdivisions and the beat shapes that I learned in 4/4. All I've got to do is play one more of them. Sounds quite straightforward and simple, but it's not always that straightforward when you're trying to put it into practice. Speaking of which, I will stop rambling and we'll actually put this into practice. We'll start with something we know. We'll start with a 4/4 groove. I'll play at 70 beats per minute and then we'll take it from there. So now I'm going to add one beat to that groove. I've gone for a simple subdivision of 2 quavers, kick and snare, and I'm keeping the hi-hat on both of those. I'll play that for you now, and then we'll put it all together to create the 5/4 bar. Right, so let's put that 1-beat subdivision with the groove we just played earlier, and that will give us a groove in 5/4. Here it is at 70 beats per minute. So that's it. To play in 5/4, you take anything you can already do, chances are it's in 4, and stick one beat at the end of it. Another way you could look at it is say, well, actually, I'll put that one beat maybe in the middle of the groove, or put it at the beginning of the groove. It doesn't matter where you put it, you're just adding one beat to what you are already doing. You don't need to change anything about what you were doing before. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that's the same. We're just adding that 5 and in. So if we can turn a 4/4 groove into a 5/4 groove by just adding one beat to the end of it, we can do exactly the same with our fills. Next up, I'm going to play a 4/4 fill. That's a lot of F's in that sentence. A 4/4 fill, and it's got some flams in it as well. Wow, I've gone for alliteration in today's lesson, I didn't even realise. So it's a 4/4 fill with some flams in it, and there's a linear element as well. Just a fun 4/4 fill that I enjoy to play. I'm going to stop talking because I can't seem to stop alliterating, and I'll show you that fill now. Here it comes. Right, so to make that a 5/4 fill, here I go again, I'm going to add another one beat subdivision to the end. I'm going to go for 4 semiquavers this time. I'm going to play it 5, E and A, so 2 on tom 2 and 2 on tom 3. I'll just play that one beat subdivision for you first, and then we'll put it all together. Okay, so let's put all of that together to create our 5/4 fill. Now, I'm going to be playing this at 70 beats per minute round in a loop. You may want to just play the fill and then rest for a bar. Give yourself a bit more time to get comfortable with it. That's absolutely fine. Pause the video and do that. And of course, if you need to slow it down as well, pause the video, slow it down as much as you need, and come back and join me when you're ready. All totally fine. Now let's take the 5/4 groove from earlier and put it with the 5/4 fill, there I go again with my alliteration, and put it together to make a 3/1 result. Be really careful when you get to the fill. We are so conditioned, we are hardwired to playing in 4/4. When we get to our fill, we just stop counting and just tear around the drum kit. This is a 5/4 fill. We've got to count every single note. It's not going to feel natural having that extra 4 semiquavers tacked on to the end of it. So make sure you are paying really close attention when you get to the fill. 100% concentration, 100% of the time. Here we go. So there you go, a really quick look at 5/4. Experiment with your own grooves and fills, adding 1-beat subdivisions to the end, or the middle, or the beginning, or wherever you want, to turn those 4/4 patterns into 5/4 patterns. It's really, really important that we count every single note carefully. You know how much I go on about counting. It's crucial when we're in 4/4. Well, it's just as crucial when we're not in 4/4. As I've said, this will not feel comfortable or natural to begin with. So make sure you are counting really, really carefully. Have some fun with that, guys. Experiment, see what you can come up with. That's it for today's lesson. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, please feel free to get in touch. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment down below. I will get back to you as soon as I can. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy your drumming, guys.